Hello, and welcome to Loaded Mag.
Evening, boys.
Evening.
You all right?
Sound to use?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yes!
As the music, it took ages for the music to die there.
I know, I was like,
It was still playing in my head. Well, lads, I'm good. I'm magnificent. Magnificent.
Love it. Love it.
Ah.
Mate, I've seen
weird
some
for you.
people slagging Maxie's dancing off. I was loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Well, to be fair, Chris, when your tour's in good nick, we've seen you do the cha-cha slide down the house through your laptop. And I can tell you what, Sam Maxon's way better than you, mate.
Yeah, he is, to be fair. He's way better. Way better.
So what's the crack then, Dad? Oh, he's lost it.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone.
It's once again, Chris. It's,
I know.
he's hasn't put his 50 pence in his Galway meter. And it's gone up. It's just me and you again. At least we're not covered up like that. Me and Martin were the other night.
I know.
Daz, you've got to get a different broadband provider, mate. Seriously. Can you hear us or not? Oh, and that.
He's out again. He's gone. Yeah.
So anyway, Chris, we'll crack on. What did you make of the result this afternoon?
Mate, it was just fantastic, wasn't it? I mean, that first half, I got to admit, I was worried. First half, we didn't turn up. I wasn't on Match Day Live today. We're on the NUFC Matters, and I don't think you were either, were you, Rich?
No, I wasn't. No.
But I was following it, and I was watching along. But yeah, I've got to admit, I was panicking after that first half. But I could see that there was potential there. Albeit we didn't play well. I felt we were a little bit unlucky with the goal. I know the defence got criticised a little bit, but to be fair, it did slide through quite a few bodies, didn't it, and went in. So it was just one of those. And I know a few people were a little bit critical of Dubravka. But I thought, especially second half, I thought he was fantastic. I honestly, he's just so commanding, and he really controls the box, doesn't he? And he organises everyone. I know a few times he came out, he probably could have caught it, but if there's that little bit of element of doubt, I've got no problem with him punching it. As long as he gets it out that box and away from the goal, I've got no issue at all.
To be fair, though, you've got
back.
a little bit. Just cracking on without you in case
yes,
you die.
Sorry about that. I figured out what was wrong. I had YouTube on the background, and all I could hear is double everything. I said, "What is going on here?" So yeah, let me try and start again. And thanks for carrying on, lads.
Right.
I want to bring in. We have some guests with us tonight, so apologies for that false start. So I want to bring in our regular guest first, Pete. A very happy Pete. Welcome to the show, Pete. And I also want to introduce and bring in Paul and Kendra. Welcome, Paul and Kendra.
Up the Toon.
All right.
Toon happy, man.
You okay?
Mr. and Mrs. Newcastle, eh?
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Welcome to the show, guys. Lads, okay, so first of all, maybe we'll just have a quick flick through the match today in about 2 minutes in picture form. We started with the following lineup. We went 5 at the back. It's pretty similar to what we went with. A few changes, obviously, with Kraft and Lascelles dropping out. Lascelles being injured. Then we went a goal behind. A nice cut back from Chris Woods and Vidras getting the goal. Then we went in a bit of a it wasn't a great first half. If we recall, there was that whole VAR incident, and where we should have had a penalty. There was an offside decision as well, where it was very close with Gale. Then we go into the second half. We brought on on the 56th minute. We brought on Maxi, and we brought on Wilson. Nice bit of work from ASM. We got Murphy got that equalising goal, and then St. Max for the 2-1, and that took us right the way to the finish, to a 2-1 victory. So maybe we'll go around the table and see what your thoughts on the match, guys. Rich, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think with the first 35, 40 minutes, it was dire from Newcastle. It wasn't even the same sort of. It was the team was pretty much the same as it was against Spurs, but there was just no direction. Even like simple, passes were just going astray all the time. It just didn't seem any urgency, no energy. It was nothing. It looked like we'd played last night for some reason. But then that offside goal seemed to spur us into life about 5 minutes before half time, and it was a lot closer than what it was made out on the TV. And then obviously we should have blatantly had a penalty. I still can't see why VAR turned around and said it wasn't a penalty. Or even, to be fair, did even go and get Anthony Taylor to go and have a look at the pitch side monitor. He should have went across and checked it, because I think if he'd seen that himself, he probably would have reversed his decision, especially in the second half when he gave a free kick for one that was nowhere near as bad on Longstaff again. So, but second half, and fortunately for a change, Bruce made his substitutions 10 minutes earlier. And in that 10 minutes, we turned the game around completely. St. Maximin came on and just literally changed the game and rightfully got the man of the match for that 35-minute spell. He was phenomenal when he came on. He showed what we've been missing while he's been out injured. Even with Wilson's movement up there as well, the understanding between the two of them is fantastic. And the effort from, the balls that were constantly put in towards Dubravka and the back three. They pretty much dealt with everything that came as best they could, because Burnley were a big physical side. Chris Wood, they've got the Ben Mee, Tarkovsky in there as well. And they were, especially on the corners were constantly put under the bar every single time. It was really, really hard. But to be fair, they were fantastic. They dealt with it. And I thought Sean Longstaff had a good game. I think he had plenty of legs. He was all over the pitch. Saw the heat map a bit earlier on, WhatsApp chat. Just plenty better. What we've been lacking over the last 7 to 8 games and before the Spurs game. So I am absolutely over the moon to see we've got a game in hand with 6 points out of Fulham now.
Exactly, Rich. Over to you, Chris.
Yeah, so I touched on it a little bit while you were gone, Daz. So I was talking really. No, don't apologise, mate. So yeah, I was talking about the first half. So yeah, as Rich said, really, I mean, most of the first half we were pretty poor. To touch on some of the things Richie's just mentioned, yeah, I mean, the penalty or the penalty shout, I'll never understand how that wasn't a penalty. I know the reason that they gave for not giving it is that Sean Longstaff lent his head in to get the ball, but forget that for a moment. Look how high his leg was. He didn't lean it. He didn't bend down to do it. He literally just leant slightly forward. So I really can't see why that wasn't given as a penalty. I was really shocked when Dwight Gale was offside at how close it was, because when I first saw it, I thought it was a good yard or two off there. And then when they showed the replay, it was like half a foot or something. So that was interesting. But yeah, second half, I mean, the changes, and I'll give Bruce a little bit of credit here. Bruce made the changes when he had to, so he give it another 10 minutes, and then he decided to bring on ASM and Wilson as a double substitution. And fair play for him for doing that. I mean, it's the right decision, and that's what he should have been doing. But in the past, he doesn't always do that. So it was really positive and a really good thing that that happened. St. Maximin had to get man of the match for me. He was just so good. He even when he's off the ball, he's constantly worrying defenders and worrying the midfielders around him. You can see them all constantly looking to see where he's going. And I looked back at Murphy's goal, and just the way that he runs to the byline, and he's got literally 3 players all drawing towards him, and then that detracts the attention away from Murphy, who he slides it back to, and makes an absolutely fantastic finish. It was really, really calm finish. He could have just blasted it, but instead he just put a little bit of power through it and just put his foot through the ball and just directed it into the far corner. So it was a really good goal. Murphy has a great game, so I wanted to mention that. But all in all, I don't really think anybody had a bad game. I think again, and I'm not trying to just dig him out, so to speak, but Shelvey. a few times. He's just not got the legs, has he? When we've been saying this for weeks, I would have liked to have seen Willett come on, but at the end of the day, he's not going to drop Shelvey. Shelvey's his blue-eyed boy. But today's not about talking about the negatives, so I don't want to spend any more time on that, because overall the team did fantastically well. I could name 5, 6, 7 players who I was really impressed with. The main positives for me to take today are the fact that obviously we've got the 3 points, but the fact that Wilson's come through unscathed, he's returned to the side. Maxi's got another 35 minutes under his belt and played absolutely fantastic. Federico Fernandez is back in the team, which I'm really happy about. And Dubravka, for me, really looked settled today. And, he's firmly shown why he is the number one and why Bruce was right to bring him back. So all round, just made
happy out, Chris.
Really pleased.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice one. Kendra and Paul, we'll go to you next. What your thoughts on the match?
I thought, well, I nearly left the house. I nearly left the house after the first half. I was so disappointed in the way we was playing. I just thought we looked really slack. There was nothing. There was no to get any kind of anything. There was no formation, gaps everywhere. I just says to him, I'm not wasting my only day off watching this. I'm away out. And I literally had my coat on. I was at the back door and he shouts, Kendra, I actually missed the first goal. He's like, come back, we've got a goal in, And then second half was a lot better.
Yeah, it was.
Magic that was needed from the 2 players that would be missing, Wilson and ASM there. So, yeah, I thought second half, pulled it out the bag and got us out of trouble. Thank God for that,
Exactly, Kendra.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that high kick, friggin' hell. It was better than the Moulin Rouge, wasn't it?
Yeah. Look how high it is, like. How high?
I couldn't even get my leg up that high, could I, Paul?
No.
He knows how high I can get my leg up and I can't get my I can't get it up that high, honest to God.
That's another show.
Is this program going out after the watershed?
We'll get a strike.
It's true, man. It's true.
Are you done now?
I'm done. You can go now.
Great way to end.
Yeah, obviously. I think obviously the first half was like a non-event, really, wasn't it? It wasn't until the last 10 minutes or so we'll come into it, really. When Murphy sort of pushed forward a bit more. He was whipping a couple of good balls into the box. And
yeah, he had a good game.
Second half, obviously, when Maximan come on, we just changed the game. Got an assist, scored a wonder goal. Just looked miles better. Sean Longstaff for me as well. I thought he'd done well. Stood out really well.
Just brings a bit of class,
Yeah. Dubravka was solid.
Oh, yeah.
Caught everything coming into the box. We've missed that. I like Darlow, but he's like a shot stopper for me and doesn't really command his box. But Dubravka just claims everything in the box. He's good presence. Really good.
He's so vocal, that's why, though, isn't it, Paul? Darlow quiet. So,
I thought, the back. Did you not think the back three looked a bit slow at first half? Fernandez
took them a while to get going, didn't it? Yeah, it took them a while to get going. But do you know what, Paul? I think that's a really good point you made, because it was a slow start. But as the game went on, I think they kind of grew into it. And I think, again, I don't want to start battering players, but I do think we look far more solid without Lascelles. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, the first goal, I thought Kieran Clark was a bit iffy for the first goal. I think he should have done a bit better than that. Got skinned too easy.
Yeah. Shouldn't be getting skinned off Chris Wood, to be fair. He's not the fastest.
No, I mean, he's not the fastest, is he? He's just the fastest.
Yeah, the Dubravka did those string corners.
He was absolutely rubbish. I don't care what you say. He was absolutely rubbish. I don't know how many times he had his back to that ball, man. Which way the pitch are you looking at? Do you know what I mean? And to me, he's got no spark. He looks like, I don't know what. He does my head in, if I'm honest. I just don't think he's worth his wage packet at all. You know what I mean? Put my Hugo French Bulldog on, he'll do a better job.
Who we saw just before the show.
Hugo!
He could do your job.
Get him on.
Pete, we'll go to you next. Your thoughts, and a happy bunny today, Pete.
I am. Look, it was a massive game. We talked about it before. We had to win that game. We got given a massive lifeline with Fulham losing on Friday. Obviously, we looked at that during the match live of watch along, and it was such a massive game. We had to win. And as I said before, I missed the first sort of 30 minutes of the game because I was playing myself, and looking at it sort of the back end of the first half, it looked very lethargic. We looked tired as a team. We didn't look like we had any energy about us. I thought Dwight Gale and Joe Linton were poor. I don't think they played well at all, and rightly subbed off. And it just looked all a bit flat, and we needed that little sort of G up. And I thought the penalty would be that. I managed to start watching it at the point in which the penalty decision or not decision was sort of looked at by VAR, and that's just another example of, one, the decisions that go against Newcastle, and two, how separated VAR are to the real game. It's just not real football. It's not real football when they're making decisions like that. And there's been a few more today as well. I mean, how you can get your foot higher than your own head, right, and make contact with a player's head, and it be deemed that the player was dropping his head to go in for the ball. If it was at knee height and he was trying to head the ball and he was kicked, fair enough. But the lad's standing. He's standing right there, and he's genuinely going to get the ball from a rebound to potentially score a big goal, and he's getting kicked in the head. Doesn't matter whether the player clears the ball or not. It's dangerous play. In any other part of that pitch, it's a free kick. So there's no reason why that's a penalty.
Did you see the one later in the game as well, Pete? There was one later in the game in the second half, and his leg was lower, and it was it in the halfway line or something? And
it was just outside our box, Chris. It was Dwight McNeil. So you
free
say
kick,
small It was nowhere near as bad. It was a free kick straight away. Still scored straight away.
And that in itself shows you the inconsistencies with regards to VAR and football. The most disappointing thing about it all is that the ref didn't even give the penalty. The ref didn't even give the penalty. So it was like the ref agreed with VAR. I mean, like, how could you not? How could you not see that that's an obvious penalty? Anyway, it was that would have been our G up, and I thought at that point we're just going to kind of drift out the game. Comes into the second half, it was sort of more of the same, if I'm honest with you. We didn't really look like we were going to score, and then we bring the big boys on. And I've mentioned it before on other streams. There was, we missed our big players, Almiron, St. Maximin and Wilson. You take those three type of caliber players out of any of Burnley, any of Brighton, any of Fulham, any of Palace, any of those teams that are in and around it. You take their three best players out of that team for a period of 4 to 6 weeks, you are going to notice a significant difference. And just bringing them on, those guys are barely fit, and already they just managed to turn it on. In comparison to Gale, Wilson's stretching the plays, making runs in and behind. He's big and solid, holding up the board. He's not the biggest lad, but he makes himself big. Gale doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. So already, as a midfielder or a defender, if you put the ball up there, he's going to hold on to it. So you know that midfielders are going to make runs in and behind. And that's exactly what happened. All of a sudden, Almiron comes to life. He starts making those runs in and behind. He starts looking lively. Then you bring out St. Maximin, and I was a little bit concerned because they were playing him central, and I'm thinking on the left is where he's really going to cause damage. But lo and behold, he picks the ball up centre, makes his run, very, very similar to the goal he scored at St. James's Park earlier on in the season, where he makes that middle run. He kind of like he twists on the ball, completely turns the defenders, and then puts it in the bottom corner. Pretty much an identical goal, just apart from the fact that it wasn't ran from his own half. But they're your match winners. They are your match winners. And they are the guys that make the difference. You've got your Riches and your Murphys and your Longstaffs who were equally fantastic and work their socks off, but you need that little bit of stardust. You need that little bit of quality that makes a difference, and those boys have done it. And long may it continue. You've mentioned Dubravka. Just the last thing on Dubravka. That's the reason why he's number one. You know, when you need somebody to take the pressure off your defence, I can guarantee if we had Darlow in goal, they probably would have scored, because the fact that Dubravka was coming out, punching the ball, coming to collect it. I mean, I think there was one at 92 minutes, the ball comes in the box, he comes out of his way, comes and collects the ball, grabs it on the floor. All the defenders and midfielders, sigh of relief. Wow, he's there, he saved us. And it's a match saver. And you need that in goalkeepers. It's all right being a shot stopper, it's all right being a distributor. Dubravka's all three. He can distribute, he can shot stop, but he's commanding as well. And I loved it in the second half when he was having to go at his centre-backs for not marking, not tracking, not doing the job. And he was going mad at them. And that's what you want. You should want that as a player, to be told that you're not doing your job properly, to give you that little bit of extra 10%. So, you know, lots of positives there. Brilliant win. Massive win. One massive step forward to safety. And we move on.
Cheers, Pete. For me, maybe we'll just go for our man of the match now. For me, I said in a match day live, it was a pick between Murphy, Longstaff, and ASM. But ASM gets it for me with the assist and the goal and just turning the game around. But it was a great game from Sean Longstaff from there as well. When there was those calls to maybe we needed someone in midfield to liven it up a bit. Sean Longstaff was putting in those tackles, and he was winning the free kicks. It was great to see him back, getting near where he was before. So great to see as we go forward into the matches. Richie, who do you think man of the match?
Echo what you've just said there. I would have given it to if ASM hadn't had the impact he had in that 35 minutes, it would have been Sean Longstaff all day. I thought his effort, his work rate, his distribution, he just constantly was appeared in Burnley. Didn't give them a second. He was pressing all the time. You know, you would think he was the captain sometimes compared to, you know, playing alongside Shelby. He's got so much more energy, and you can tell he's playing for the shirt. It's his local club. Yeah. But I think just for the sake of, like as you said, that 35 minutes when ASM came on, he changed the game. You know, we were going from being 3 points ahead of Fulham to now being 6 points, and that 6 point, Fulham don't get 6 points between now and the end of the season.
Hopefully, Chris.
Yeah, no, I think you two lads are spot on. I'd have to give it to Maxi. You've got to give it to Maxi, but I do want to, you know, special shout out, especially for Murphy. Murphy ran him close. I thought Murphy was excellent, and I now feel that, especially with this five at the back, I feel like the right wing back position is just perfect for Murphy, because I was saying to Pete earlier, you know, he's not bad at defending. There was a couple of moments where I think he was up against Chris Wood and Vidra out on the wing. And, you know, he really stood up. He was strong. He was committed. And going forward, he's got that little bit of pace about him. He's not the quickest, but, you know, he's got that little burst of pace in him. And he puts in a fantastic ball. So I think he gives you the best of both worlds. I think if you remember when Conte was at Chelsea, he moved Victor Moses into a right wing back position when Moses wasn't formally a right winger. And it done the world of good for Moses. And maybe Murphy's one of those type players. And it also allows us, obviously, to find space for Richie as well. So we play Richie at left wing back, and then we can slot Dummett into the left of the three centre backs. So I think it works well. But yeah, for me, it has to be Maxi. But special mentions, especially for Jacob Murphy and Dubravka, because I thought Dubravka was super.
Cheers, Chris. Kendra?
Well, I think Dubravka, actually. Really? Because I think without him in that first half where they were coming all over, we'd have been in a lot of trouble, honest to God, I really do. I think he saved our bacon, shall we say. How was the bacon? But yeah, and then, of course, when ASM came on, it just brought that bit of sparkle, a bit of magic that we needed to get us out of the SHIT, shall I say? Definitely, yeah.
You can say it, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And Murphy as well, I thought he had a good game.
Yes, ESM for me, like all day long. Assist, goal, best player on the pitch by a mile. I think Longstaff did have a good game. I mean, he got hammered on Twitter for some reason. people still had him on Twitter saying he had a bad game.
Yeah, he didn't have a bad game.
Just I can't understand it.
You know, Paul, with Longstaff, there's been a lot of fans that kind of get on his back, and the only time they get on his back is because, and it's one thing that he needs to improve on, is that he does give the ball away a lot. But with that type of player, he's a risk player. He likes to play the ball forward. He likes to play forward passes, and he likes to cut the lines. But when you do that, you are running the risk of it being cut out and him losing the ball or giving it away. But I would take that, because what you now see from him, and it's all about having a run of games, is that even if he does lose the ball, he's got the work rate to press, to harry, to try and really put pressure on winning the ball back. And he did that really well today. The amount of slide tackles, the amount of challenges, 50-50s that he was putting himself in that he wasn't doing beforehand. It's because he's now getting fit, and he's getting fit because he's getting games. If you weigh it up with how many times he gives the ball away and how many good things he does, where he wins the ball in a dangerous position, or he puts the ball in a real good position that starts off a counter-attack, there's more positives than negatives to his game.
I'd rather have him in than Hendrick, put it that way.
I was getting worried when Hendrick was coming on for the last minute. I was like, what can he do here?
It's a prime example of what you were saying there, Pete, about the forward balls that Longstaff plays. That first time ball he set Maxey away when we nearly scored the third, when Almiron had the goal cleared off the line.
Down the line,
First time whipped it, and it was perfect for Maxey to run on, and he skinned Tarkowski. That's the sort of ball I think we're missing from that centre midfield.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think when Shelby plays his quarterback pass occasionally during the game, it tends to be more, he spreads it rather than it's not clinical in the part of the field he is. It's more changing the direction of play. That's where he does his sort of passing. That's what we need, people who are going to break the lines and take people out of the game, which is what that pass did.
Exactly, and that's actually what John Joe Shelby does give you when he's more dynamic in his play. So when you ask him to play further forward, and when you ask him to be a lot more, certainly to move a lot more, to be more of a presence further forward in the pitch, that's what he does give you. He has got the ability to play those balls, but John Joe Shelby's just lazy. He's just a lazy player. And what he'd much rather pick up the ball from the centre back and play those crossfield passes that you've explained. More often than not, it comes to nothing, because the ball's not even the right ball half of the time. But he just plays it because that's all he can play right now. He wouldn't be getting into any other team in the Premier League. He's very, very fortunate to be playing in a team week in, week out at the moment. But like you said, Sean Longstaff he's dynamic. He likes to move. He likes to get forward. He likes to get back. Particularly when he's fit, he needs games. That's what he can give you. He's got that ability on the ball. And I actually believe that Matty Longstaff's are probably a better passer than him. We just don't see it with Matty Longstaff because he's nowhere near the team at the moment. But I actually think he's more controlled and he's got a better pass on him. So you want those players that are good on the ball all the time. So it's really good to see from Sean Longstaff.
Yeah,
I think that's. Oh, sorry, Vince. I was just going to say, I think that's why they complement each other well when they play together, because I think Sean's probably got more of a passing range than Matty. But I'd say Matty's probably more accurate. So Matty's short and sharp, give and go. Whereas Sean, I don't know, with Sean, I feel like he's got that 15, 20-yard pass in him and he spots it. But he's really majestic on the ball. Do you know what I mean? He's very, very clean cut. Whereas Matty is a bit more rough and ready, but he'll get it done, and he does little short, sharp ones. And I think that's why they work well together. But you're quite right what you say, Pete, in that Shelby, the Hollywood ball, as they like to call it, they do come off. But half the time now, I'm starting to think that he plays that ball because it relieves the pressure off him. You were saying about Sean Longstaff taking risks. He'll play a little 15, 20-yard ball. If the ball gets intercepted, the pressure's on him. With Shelby, he's hitting these 40, 50-yard balls. If the ball goes out of play, if the defender picks it up or whatever, he's not got an immediate problem because the ball's so far away from him. Whereas I feel like I feel like with Sean Longstaff, he takes those risks, and maybe that's why he gets a little bit more, stick from the fans. But you're quite right. The more that he plays, and the more that he's in this team week in, week out, he will hopefully rediscover that form, that fantastic form, which was it last season or the season? No, it must have been the season before.
No, it was under Rafa when he played alongside Hayden.
And that's how you'll start seeing it, because Hayden, again, complements Sean Longstaff, because Hayden does all his dirty work and Sean will start spreading a few balls around, albeit not 40, 50 yarders, but we don't always need that. It should be, it should be like an immediate progression rather than trying to constantly, hit a 40, 50 yarder, because it doesn't always work.
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, Pete, did you give your man of the match?
No, I didn't. What I look, there's a few. I mean, I've mentioned Dubravka. The likes of Sean Longstaff. You can even say Richie. They all played really, really well. But again, I'm going to go with the rest of the lads on here and say ASM. He's that sprinkle of gold dust, or stardust, should I say? He's the match winner. He makes the difference. And he, I think I said it on the Matters chat during the game. He was by far the best player on that pitch. He was a level above everybody else in his ability. He wasn't on the pitch for long. He didn't have many touches of the ball, but when he did, you could just tell the quality was just oozing from him. And those kind of players under Mike Ashley for us are rare. They don't come along very often. And boy, we need them if we're going to stay in the league. So ASM for me, 100%.
Nice one, Pete. I think it's around across the board. We're all agreeing on ASM more or less. I just want to ask a few announcements, lads. I want to say to people, thanks for watching. To hit the like and comment button, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And then we have some upcoming shows as well. Directly after this at 8 o'clock, we have the interview with the Newcastle United Supporters Trust. It's Adam Beckett, our friend Adam. He's going to be having an interview with Martin, our very own Martin. So I think Martin's getting suited and booted for this one. So that shall be interesting. Martin in a suit. And of course, they'll be talking about the 1892 pledge and many more things, including the match today. So join the lads at 8 o'clock for that one. And then coming up on Wednesday as well, we've got a big one. We've got the Loaded Football Weekly, and it's a derby special. We are joined by the Void this Wednesday at 8, and that should be a really good show. And the music is out of this world. So yeah, join us for that. So yeah, now I want to just look. What's that? What did I miss? There'll be plenty of that. Just want to bring up the table just to show everyone where we are. So yeah, we're and I'll get rid of my banner for a second. We're sitting pretty-ish after 31 games on 32 points. Obviously, Fulham have played 32 and they're 26, so we're 6 points ahead of them with a game in hand. And West Brom and Sheffield United are playing not each other, but Sheffield United are playing tonight, aren't they? And West Brom are playing tomorrow, and Brighton are playing tomorrow in their games. So do you think we're safe, guys? I suppose. And if I bring up the fixtures as well, these are the remaining fixtures. If you can read them, they're very tiny. But what's your thoughts, sir? I don't think we're safe yet. I think there's at least another win or two before, because Fulham are. They could pick up some kind of a win. We've got 5 difficult games coming up. I'd like to see us get at least 1 point out of those 5 games. But as Man City could have won the league, but then again, they lost the other day. So who knows? But what do you think? Sorry, do you want to see that, Chris?
Yeah, sorry, I was just counting. So we got 2, 4, 6. Yeah, do you know what? I'll start dead quick, Daz. I think we're 1 win away from safety. And when I say 1 win away from safety, I mean guaranteed safety. I still don't think Fulham will pick up 7 points between now and the end of the season. They've got 6 games there. I just don't see 2 wins and a draw. However, I don't want to leave it till the last game of the season. But if we were to win, I'm gonna throw this out there, by the way. I think we beat West Ham next week. Just saying it. Because West Ham are in a fantastic run of form at the moment, and every good run comes to an end, and everybody will expect West Ham to batter us. And I think we can turn West Ham over. And if we do beat West Ham next week, I think it's done. Because, that would then put us 9 points ahead of Fulham with a game in hand. And it just, that is done then. It's done then. But I still think one more win. But I'm saying that because I want it to be really, really, really safe, even though I don't think they'll get 7 points.
Yeah, you don't want to be going into that last game of the season with even just being slightly ahead. No, it's too dodgy. Richie?
No, I said last week, and I said during the week as well, if we betted Fulham's results this week, in which we have, and it's much better, because I was even contemplating a draw, all we have to do for the rest of the season is to match Fulham's results. Now, if you look at Fulham's fixtures, I think they get 2 points at the most out of those fixtures, and that's my opinion. I think they might get a point off Burnley. And even if I wanted to be, really, really critical before today's performance, a point against us, I don't see them picking up another point from the other 4 games. I think they get 2 points maximum. I think we'll get something. No, I think Southampton are decent at home. I don't think they'll get anything off Southampton. I think we'll get something off West Ham. Liverpool, it depends on what happens with the Champions League, if they get through or not. Obviously, they've got to turn over the 2-goal deficit against Madrid for that, but we never know. Arsenal, hit and miss. Do you know what I mean? You don't know what you're going to get with that. But that's more than capable of getting something against them. Leicester were poor today. First half, they were awful against West Ham. But the other thing about West Ham is they've been so far ahead in so many games this season, but they let teams in. The concentration isn't there. And another big thing about West Ham is they picked up 2 more injuries today to key players. Aaron Cresswell looks like he's out with a hamstring, and Mark Noble, who was standing for Declan Rice, he went off with looks like an upper arm injury as well. So that's 2 more people who are valuable members of their squad who are missing. I don't think Rice is going to be fit either. So they've picked up a few more injuries, and to be there, they're there for the taking defensively. Yes, they can score goals, but they concede them as well. And with our guys back, there's not much pace in that back line of West Ham with people like Dawson. So I think we can attack them. I think we could definitely get something. I think at least a point off West Ham.
Cool. Cheers, Rich. Kendra?
A point, yes. Emma Rich. West Ham. King West Ham. Sorry, I've had too many red wines tonight, mate. I'm telling you. Yeah, I think we'll get a point against them. I think we'll scrape it through just by the skin of our teeth. I think we'll stay up. I think we might get one off them, like on the next game. But let's talk on later. And Richard, of course. Oh, sorry, Richard. She's Sunday name. It is Sunday.
And of course, Kendra does all the voices. She does all the accents. So.
I do. I even do yours, Daz.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Paul, over to you.
What are you talking about there? You know what makes sense there, Daz.
Kendra, you forget I can remove you from the chat anytime, so be careful.
I think it's safe now, to be honest with you.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I really do. I can't see Fulham getting 6 points. Just don't see it at all.
Yeah, I agree.
You've got to rely on Newcastle not to pick up any points, and I still think we'll get probably another 6 points or so. I think we'll beat Sheffield United, and I think we'll possibly beat West Ham next week.
Yeah.
Even Man City at home, they'll have the league wrapped up, and they've got bigger things on the horizon, like Champions League.
Yeah, but look at Leeds.
We might get a point against them. Could get a point.
Yeah.
So I'll settle for that, mate. I think we'll be easily safe by the time we play Fulham last game of the season.
Cheers, Bob. Pete, you think we're safe?
Not guaranteed, no, because you can't sort of guarantee that you're safe until it's mathematically so. But a lot of what everyone else has said on the panel, I agree with. I don't see Fulham getting 6 points. I certainly don't see them getting to 9 points anyway. And I think that'll be the gap. I don't see Fulham getting up to 35 points, and I believe that we've got one banker in there, in that we beat Sheffield United at home. I think that for me is our banker. I believe we get 3 points there regardless. I've also said, I think on our final countdown show, me and Chris mentioned it. I was always confident that we could get something against West Ham and against Arsenal. I think both of those games are winnable. But it goes back to my original point that I said a while ago. It's been obvious that we've been playing our better football at home. When we play at home, we are more expansive as a team. We're better attacking. We look dangerous for longer periods of the game, just like we saw against Tottenham. Tottenham had a good team out, a team that could have quite easily beat us. But for long parts of that game, we took it to them. Now, like Rich and a few others have said, West Ham are missing their key players. The most important player for me that I was worried about was Antonio, and he looks like his season's done. Because particularly with our centre-backs right now, and this is the one downfall for our centre-backs, they're very good defenders, but they're not good with pace. They can't handle pace. They back off. They create problems for themselves. And having Antonio doing that, for me, was a big worry. With him not there, they haven't got that same type of player. So they have to have them runners from midfield. And I think, with Rice defensively saves West Ham a lot. He's the difference with how many goals they concede. And I just think with those two missing, and then you throw in Cresswell and Noble as well, they're a depleted team right now. And although they're getting wins, that's not going to last forever. They're not a Man City. They're not a Man United where they're just winning. At some point, they'll come up unstuck. And we have to remember their form, just like Tottenham's, is not great at St James's Park. And that fills me with hope that we can get at least a point. But I think we can win. And I think we can win against Arsenal as well. I think the Liverpool game, I think we'll lose. But I think we'll win that. On the other side of things, Fulham, I don't see Fulham getting anything from their next 2 games. I think Arsenal and Chelsea. And I think it'll be a draw against Burnley at home. I think Burnley will make it very difficult for them. I do think they'll probably get a point at Southampton, just because Southampton are inconsistent here and there. I think Man United beat Fulham, and I don't think we lose against Fulham on the last day of the season. I think I'm confident we'll win, but I think we'll at least get a point. And that sees us home and dry, really. So, look, we've got West Ham, Arsenal, Sheffield United, and Fulham. We've got 4 games there that we go into confident that we can get points from with already a 6-point gap. That, for me, says that we're in a great position to be comfortable come the time that we play Fulham in the last game of the season.
Cheers, Pete. And I just one last thing. I think as well, if you look at the table, I know you can't see Sheffield United at the bottom, but with the result today, now we've brought more teams into it as well. If we're still in a relegation battle, so is Brighton because they play tomorrow. So is Burnley. The
other thing, Daz, as well. If you look now, the goal difference is pretty similar with Burnley and Fulham. We're not, we had about 5 goals behind on Fulham, so we've had a good swing there as well. So that's going to be pivotal as well. That could be worth an extra point at the end of the season as well.
Definitely. And if you think about the fact that Fulham go away to Chelsea and Arsenal in their next 2 games, their goal difference could be a lot worse than ours by that time comes along. And if we're picking up points against the likes of West Ham and Arsenal, our goal difference is going to be okay. So that then pulls it into our favour. So where we thought, by them drawing the same points as us, we lose it on goal difference, that could completely swing it in our favour, which effectively makes it, 7 points right there.
Cheers, Pete. And sorry, guys, we're actually out of time. Because we're sorry. We'll be back. And don't worry, Martin's on right after this with Adam. So he's on at 8 o'clock. So he's got to set up. So he will kill us if we don't give him enough time to set up. So that should be interesting. Adam and Martin in a suit. If he's not in a suit, just give him abuse. And of course, on Wednesday, as I mentioned earlier, join us for the derby, the Loaded Football Weekly with the Void. one not to miss. So that's just want to thank Pete, Kendra, Paul, Chris, and Richie for coming on and celebrate our win. And we'll close the show with a picture of ASM.
It's magnifique.
He sure is.
French, you know.
Do you have a French accent, Kendra?
Oh, oui, monsieur. Avec moi ce soir.
And we're ended on that. Thanks, everybody. Good luck.
You'll need some more brandies, Pete.
I'm going to go get one now.
Get your leg up, mate.
See you later, everybody. Good luck.
See ya.
Later.